Mes me. Another great topic for today, man. We're gonna talk about good cops versus bad cops. Remember to man, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think, man. We value y'all opinions. So in nothing personal, just opinions. Let us know what you think, and make sure you click subscribe and share, man. Holla at your boys, man. Big Zo Podcast. Mes me.
Welcome to the Big Zo
Hey.
Podcast. I go by the name of Berto,
It's your boy Beast on the beat.
and we got a few special guests in the building with us.
Hey, your boy 850 Breeze. That's at 850 Breeze. I don't DJ. I just play music.
And then we got another special guest, Artie the producer. You know what I'm saying?
I'm good. So what artist?
Yes, sir. And today we just having a podcast, just having a little discussion. We just want to have it about police brutality and just talk about the pros and cons of having being, you know what I'm saying, about not even about defunding the police, but how we can strategize
Yeah, I think
our plans about programs. And so, like, we see a lot of stuff going on in the world. And so we just want to definitely talk about that type of stuff. What are you about to say, brother?
so. I think the question of the day is going to be good cops versus bad cops. Everyone has their own opinion about defunding the police. Obviously, ever since the George Floyd trial with former Minnesota officer Derek Chauvin, there's been, if I'm not mistaken, like 6 to 7 police killing. So we're just trying to get a clarification, like for good cops versus bad cops. Everybody got their own opinion. Everybody got an opinion about defunding the police. So I guess the question of the day is: do you believe there's good cops, and do you believe there's bad cops in the world? So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I want to start it off. I want to say that, yeah, I think they're definitely good cops, but like how the media portrays it and what we see, our first, that's what like we think about. We think about the bad cops, but there's definitely a lot of good cops out there.
And
Right.
piggyback off that too, it's like people, it just being thinking logically, it's like they're not going to want to show good cops as much as they want to show the bad cops, because it's like when something bad happens, it's like, okay, everybody's rushing to, speak on that or to show what's happening, figure it out, versus when something good, everybody's kind of like, okay, whatever, like, yeah, they did something good, well, that's what you're supposed to do type thing. So it's like, I don't think you would ever like really, I don't think the media would ever really portray, the whole good cop image as much as they would well, not even portray it, but like show it or shed light on it as much as they would like the bad cop situation.
Right. And I'm in agreement with that. I think the media does play the biggest hand in perpetuating stereotypes. I feel like the police got a stereotype now. It's you got to look at what the media is sometimes. If somebody fighting, everybody tuned in. If somebody winning an award, only the people that care about it's gonna be there. So, you can't just go around labeling every cop a bad cop, because that's gonna mess up the ecosystem for real.
At the same time, you guys saying that, but my question is, I'm not. I would never say there's every cop is a bad cop, but at the end of the day, if we could all agree, the way the police treat us, and I mean us as African Americans or just black people overall, the way the police treat us is way different than the way they would treat a white person, or even in some cases, any other race except for a black person. So not to say like, oh, good cops or bad cop, but don't you guys agree that there's a lot of cops that biases differently, as far as like they more racist, they're racist, or they're they always say, like, these cops always say that they fear of their life, they're afraid of black people, but if you look at it, they treat us worse than they would treat any other race, especially when we come encounter with them. Wouldn't you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely a thing about it, but I think it's more of like a union protecting the union. You know what I'm saying? Like a brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? Like even if the cop is wrong, the cop is still gonna have people that's ready to pay to bail him out. And it's because like these are the rules, and I think it's a systematic problem. You know what I'm saying? It's not about. Of course, it comes down to the individual, but it's the system that allows them to do that. And because of that, like that's the rules that they play. You know what I'm saying? And they have people to back them up, even though they don't do that to any other race. Though they only do that to black people, but that's how the system is set up. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, I think we need to change our laws. We need to change the way
Right.
we govern
Right.
and little shit like that.
And
Right.
to some degree, people could say, well, the media has a lot to do with it. But at the end of the day, how many times, I could speak about my own, on personal issues. Like, I get stopped by the cop, like, since I was born, probably maybe over 20 times. And out of 20, like, I only had probably 2 situations where it went left. And it wasn't even my fault, but it was just the cop was like, over aggressive with it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that's not me looking at the media. It's just me dealing with my own personal issues. Like, okay, this is what happened in my life. I got stopped by a cop. Now I could say the other 18 times I got stopped by a cop, everything went well. There was no issues. But like I said, there was
So,
twice that something went left. You know what I'm saying?
so
And it wasn't even my fault. It
fair.
was just the cop felt like he wanted to be racist, and it
Yeah.
was like he wanted to be ultra aggressive.
Right.
And I
So
don't feel like it was the media.
do you say it's fair that there's a 2 in 18 chance that, like, out of every 18 cops, you're gonna run into that situation twice? I just feel like when it comes down to it, you get pulled over, everything going cool, you have no need to pull out your phone and try to report it to the world. If all we see is that, we're gonna believe that, but that's not everyday life. Like you said, you've been stopped 18 times, 2 of them went bad. Uh, you're gonna run into bias in the world, and just unfortunately, their job is supposed to exempt that, but you can't exempt that in a human being. You know what I'm saying? I got white friends that I personally have never been anything but falsely arrested. I got white friends and they had beat by the police severely. You know what I mean? So it's everybody gonna have a different experience. That police officer beat his ass, he had a bias against people who wouldn't shut the fuck up. And so that resulted in them beating him severely, putting him in the hospital. But
Well, as you said, you had a friend. I guess you said that he wouldn't shut the hell up, so the police beat his ass. But us
right,
as black men, even with me, like, cause I don't know how everybody is, but I started driving when I was 15. So
same.
even like when I started driving, like my pops always like told me, hey, this is how I should handle myself if I get pulled over. So I was always, it wasn't even the media, because when I'm 15, 16 years old, 17, I mean, I'm be honest, I just start recently watching the news crazy. It's gonna sound crazy. I said this since like when Trump became president,
That's most.
because it's that that shit just been entertaining as hell. But other than that, I don't really watch the news like that. I mean, it's sad. I probably should, but realistically, I don't really don't watch the news. But I say this: it's like I wasn't even looking at the media to guide me, or the media to like persuade me, hey, for me to like be nervous or scared of police. I just looked at it, what was going on in my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when I started driving, my pops and my parents, taught me, hey, this is what you do. How to handle myself. So, like I said, but it's still us, and I can't speak for everybody else. Even with me, like I said, I've been stopped by the cop plenty of times. 90, I'll say 90%, 95% of the time it went right. I didn't have no issues. But as soon as they stopped me, it's like, damn, I still get that nervous, like something like in my stomach, like, I get like nervous as hell. Damn, like I got to think for the worst. And I don't know why. And, when I talk to my white homeboys, they're like, man, they never get that feeling. They're like, they get stopped by the cop. Okay. I've been in times with my homeboys, like he's doing something hot, smoking trees, doing whatever. And I'm like, dude, what you driving? And his response is like, dude, bro, I'm white. They ain't gonna do shit. Like, what? And I'm like,
Right,
oh, damn.
right.
It's crazy, but that's what it is. I don't know if it's a bad cop or good cop, but it's at the end of the day, it's like I feel like with these polices overall, like a lot of these white cops, man, and even I talked with a white cop. I forgot, it was something that happened a couple of years ago. One of the shootings, and the cop basically said, a white cop, he said about another cop, he said, yeah, the dude choked. It was some big shit in the media. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he said the police choked. And I was like, and that was a white cop saying that. He said that, why would you even pull out a gun in that instant? Why would you even, like, and then I was like, damn. But my whole thing is, you see a lot of these cops, they know who's the bad cop. Like, for example, we go to school, we've been on sports team. We know, okay, this the guy, like, okay, we on the same team with him, but he's a piece of shit. You wouldn't want to hang out with him. You wouldn't want him to like come to your party, come to your crib, because everybody's like, there's something wrong with him. He might have butterfingers, I mean, not butterfingers, sticky fingers. Like, he might come to the house to steal something. Like, we all know because we're around that person, and everybody around us they're around each other for the whole time. So we know who's the good cop and who's the bad cop. And I feel like these cops know who the bad cops are, but they're scared, or they just don't give it them. They're like, well, that's not me, so I'm not going to report the bad cops.
Hey, I think this conversation really started a couple of days ago when we talked about the young lady losing her life. But this is why I think police, like, we need to change the police system. Like, for one
I
thing,
think her
I
name is
had told y'all
Micaiah Wright.
boys, I told y'all boys that I think police should stay in the communities
Hey,
that
Pete, hold on
they.
real quick. Say her name again, Berto.
I believe her name is Micaiah Wright.
All
Okay,
right,
Is
right.
that her name?
make sure we say her name. But
It's Micaiah. So
yeah,
yeah, that's the lady.
Uh,
I believe that's in Ohio.
in Ohio, yeah. But police should stay in the communities that they patrol in. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like you say, if you know how this person acts, like, you're gonna know how to approach that person. Same thing
right.
with police. I think if they stay in the communities that they govern or whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? If something happens, you can be a point of reference, you know what I'm saying? Like, this community, you've been through it, the people that's in it. If there's a trouble, if there's something that happens, like if Micaiah had called police and and someone that lives in the community knows how she acts, or what I'm saying, they can come to her and approach her a different way. And
Right.
everything's gonna be different from case to case. But I think that's one thing that we should do.
And another thing, before anybody continue, my bad. I apologize. Her name is Micaiah Bryant. That's her name, Micaiah Bryant. So I apologize on that.
Right.
But yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
What I would say in that situation, I know, there's like mixed feelings, because you got a lot of black people say that the cops are justified, and a lot of black people say the cops wasn't justified. And I don't think the cop is going to get charged in that situation. But at the end of the day, I guess the question I would have, if everything was fair. So if y'all were doing the same thing, the way y'all treating us, like I treat white people, I would have been like, okay, the cops was justified. And the reason why I have mixed feelings about it, because how many times we see a mass shooting and you see the cop pretty much, you see the white guy pretty much kill everybody, and he has a gun. For some reason, the cop, don't shoot the suspect. They never shoot the suspect. In some cases, they arrest a suspect, or some cases they take the suspect to the Burger King, go get a burger,
You
or
talk
some
about Kyle Rittenhouse.
But
yeah.
but
In some
they blow.
situation, the cop, yeah, in some situation, the cops say, well, after they arrested the suspect, oh, he was having a bad day. How many? But if it was the question I ask people that's saying, okay, the cops are justified, and I don't know what's the right answer for it, but the question I would say, okay, if the girl was white, do you think she would have been killed, or do you think the cop would have just tackle her and grab the gun? Grab the knife, or use a taser? Do you think
So
the cop would have shot a white girl?
so this is, I guess, the part we didn't get to the other day with, like, this is where the narrative, I guess, I agree with you on. This is where the narrative changes. If she would have been a white young lady with a knife, it's hard for me to say that I think they would have went guns first. I don't, in my heart,
Hey, let's be honest, Breeze.
I can't.
She's
Yeah, in
not
my
getting
heart, I
shot,
just can't. I
no.
see them deploying the taser. I see them tackling, restraining, whatever. You know, I think because it was a large group of people, black people, is why he had the firearm out. But at the end of the day, they gotta change that in the policing. Because when you walk up on a large group of bikers, you don't have your gun out. You know, depending on where you at with them bikers, they got their guns out. So you got to change that. So I think it starts there where the officer, with the action, there's a little bit of back and forth on if it's right or if it's wrong, but the approach to the situation definitely would have been different had Caucasian people been involved in that situation.
And like, for example, another thing that's going on this week that everybody's talking about, the Andrew Brown Jr. case. Like, for example, 8 cops surrounded his car. They shot him because he was running away from the police. But at the end of the day, if you go on YouTube right now, I can't remember the guy's name, but there was 3 police officers. One of the police officers got on top of the guy's car. I think 3 other cops pulled their guns out, and they didn't even shoot the guy. The guy ended up taking off with the cop on the side. I don't know if you've seen the video. Yeah. And they didn't even kill him. Like, I'm like, so you see what I'm saying? Like, if everything was like equal, like straight, then we could like, okay, damn. Well, you know, they could justify. But my whole thing is just treat us fair. We just asking y'all to treat us fair the way y'all treat everybody else.
Right. Bro, you can't.
And so it's not like it's not like the police be having anxiety. It's like you pick and choose. My bad for cutting you off, RD, but it's like you pick and choose when you want to engage and do these things. That's why I said it should be very important that cops should stay in the community that they patrol.
This my whole issue. One, it's like what's the real question? What's the real issue here? Because it's like, I'm never gonna argue that somebody should treat you a certain way. That's like, you'll be arguing for a lifetime, bro. Because it's like everybody gonna feel like treat them somewhat differently, or somebody did something different. Like, there's no one standard on how you're supposed to treat people. Now, saying that, you feel me? I do believe that there are a lot of issues with cops. One of the main ones is the fact that we have a law that's set up, outlined, defined. Like, you can go look it up, actually, and it's things like a derivative of it or a tangent of it. For example, redlining. They use the law that says they're not supposed to be able to do that, and we're able to do that. You know, the prevent black folks from, black families from getting good quality real estate and homes or whatnot. As far as like the police killing and security and whatnot, okay, so I do believe, like, yes, officers too many times, too often than not, do use too much excessive force on black folks or minorities quicker than they would a majority or Caucasian. My issue though is, for example, like with the girl getting shot, I'm not gonna say that he was I'm not trying to justify it.
Hey, bro, you gotta say her name, man. Say her name.
Huh?
Make sure you say her name.
Kai Bryant.
Kai Bryant. Okay, so with her, that, like, at the end of the day, bro, you can say what you want to say. People can feel how they want to feel. But if you're going to point out the fact that the cop used excessive force, you got to point out the fact that the situation should never even got that far. So, to me, that's a hard one to kind of judge, because it's like, look, the girl was about to kill another girl, bro. Like, it's sad that we had a point in age and time, or a day and age, where people really arguing about this stuff. Like, bro, she was about to kill a whole nother kid, bro. So
yeah, but the thing is, hold on, I don't mean to cut you off, but there was 2 other cops there.
Bro, let me
How do you explain that?
Let me finish, bro.
But it go to the point.
At the end of the day, bro, like I said, that situation never happened. If you're going to get on the cops, get on the parents. Just as much. Now I ain't saying let the cops off free, but I'm saying don't sit here and be the opposition now. You feel me? To where it's like, okay, fuck the cops. Now I'm going to be what the cops are being to us, type shit to them. And it's like my whole thing is, look, when we all, black or white, gonna actually get to the damn truth. You know, it seemed like black folks take the advantage, and I'm like I said, I'm not trying to justify them or nothing like that as far as the white cops and whatnot. And it's not all. And another thing, I hate the fact that we bring race into it, because it's not like it's not fair to marginalize people like that, even on both sides. You know, all black people judging book by its cover. Like, yes, there are bad cops, and let's judge them accordingly. But I don't think every cop is trying to be bad. I don't even think half of them are. You feel me? And the thing is, why I say that, even though there's a lot of fucking evidence showing, you know, a lot of videos and whatnot out there, because like Brett said earlier, they're not going to sit up here and highlight. They do sometimes, but they're not going to highlight the good deeds as much as they are the bad deeds. Because the bad deeds are the ones we actually trying to change. So it's like us. The other thing, you know, I think it's our responsibility as a people too, to take some accountability for this shit. For example, I always say, like, with my company, bro, whenever something go bad, you know, whenever somebody don't do something right or something like that, it ultimately falls back on me, because I allowed that to happen. I was responsible for allowing these folks in this position. So it's like, we the people, you feel me? Yes, it is a system. However, a system can be changed, and this system didn't happen overnight. So it's like, it's not going to change overnight. But just like they did to build it up, they took their time and kept working at it. We have to keep working at our efforts and doing stuff too, and not only when somebody gets shot. People only want to be an advocate when something happens. Where was all this when, you feel me, when all the kids were just doing the Chief Keef? You feel me? Talking about, oh, I got 40s and Glocks and whatnot. You feel me? Like, we sit there and push that shit too, bro. So it's like, that's why I be like so upset when people be like, oh, want to play advocate and whatnot. Like, don't pick and choose to be an advocate, my nigga. Because it's serious shit. And that's not nothing that you should just, oh, I want to boost my ego real quick, or I want to feel good about myself today. Like, oh, this is real life shit. So it's like, don't even speak on it if you're not going to be on it 100%. And if you're doing other shit in your life, like they said, you got to be a good player on the court and off the court, on the field, off the field. Look, when we on the camera, and the same way niggas be on this, oh, we got to be advocates, and oh, I want all this justice shit. Do that same shit in your personal time. In your free time, when the cameras ain't on you, when the spotlight ain't on you. You feel me? Because it's a lot of black folks that's quick to be the advocate, bro. But at the same time, y'all part of the problem. Believe it or not. But that's just how I feel about the situation. Because I feel like these conversations just keep going on, and they just running in circles. And yeah, it's small progression being made, but at the same time, they progressing too. So it's like, it's not enough progression. We can progress and still not be doing good enough. You feel me?
Right.
No, I agree with what you're saying. You know, it's about accountability. I mean, I guess, like, I think, who said it? I think B said it, like, you know, or someone said it, like, there was adults in that situation, and they should have stopped it from escalating. Right. And there was also cops from that situation. The cop feel like cops should have stepped in instead of using the gun first. They could have stepped in, because if you look at it, most of these cops are like fit. They're supposed to be fit. They're supposed to be active, so they should be able to like rush in and just grab. You know, they could have grabbed.
So
yeah,
at that point, when the girl actually was about to stab the girl, do you think the cop should not have shot her? At that.
Hey, I'll be the first one to say no, man.
Why?
Why the other two didn't pull out their guns?
No. See, you talking about other. I say at that point in time, forget everything else that happened prior to it. Because obviously, this is the thing. We all agree that everything leading up to that should have been prevented. Even before that should have been prevented. If everything leading up to that was prevented, that would have never happened. So my question, that we have gotten up to this point, is he not justified at that point for shooting her?
I don't think so, bro. I think you could have tackled her. You could have tackled her. You could have tased her.
What would have happened?
The
worst situation
the whole idea, like, he gonna rush
get stabbed and she dies. That's the worst situation.
look, bro, it's like this. You like at the same time, they police and some of them fucked up, but they human beings. Like you talking about some Superman shit. You talking about somebody running in and disarming a knife like this Call of Duty or something like some of these niggas fit, not all of them fit, and not all of them are the most athletic. But
like
at the
how
same
far
time,
he was from the cop, like how far they was, because it's like, okay, we all play sports. You think he was athletic enough to even make that tackle within that?
like, that's really some superhero shit. Like at the end of
Nah, but hey, if I pulled up to the scene last and I see my two other officers
hold on,
letting this girl get tackled,
hold
you
on.
pulled up
So
last.
I'm gonna give you a different scenario. You pull up to the scene, and that's your family member, and you got your pistol, and somebody run up with a knife. You know, I don't think this man knew this girl was 16 years old. I don't think this man knew that she was the one that called the police, because when he pull up, it's a bunch of people stand around and the fight break out, and she come out the house, and after, she disobeyed several commands. Only where I say there's a little bit of an argument is I do, to Berto and Beach Point, if I do think if she was white, he maybe something else would have happened, but I don't know what it did. That's a catch-22.
When you say
The girl's not gonna lose her life. You know that. You know the white girl's not gonna lose
I
her
don't
life.
was white, are you talking about a little skinny white girl, or are you talking about the same size looking type of girl?
Size don't matter. She got a knife. That's at the end. You
No,
drop
yeah,
every.
you said white girl. You said white girl though. You said you don't think it would have happened, because to me, I never really asked that. I do think that if it was a white girl, he would have been less quick to shoot her. At that point, my question, at that point in time, if that was the same, if nothing different was on that girl, but the fact that she was white, same big build, all that, I do think he would have shot her. Why do I say that? I can show you videos where they've shot white people too. And like we said earlier, we don't see that shit that often. So it's like we really think in our mind that shit don't happen at all. I seen a video today just about 30 minutes ago. It was a little Mexican boy got killed. And like you said, now some people, it's arguable, a lot of people consider Mexicans black folks too. But a lot of us, when we talking about black, we're not talking about Mexicans. So it's like, when we talk about Mexicans, we usually say minorities. So it's like, my whole thing is, it's starting to shed light, like, okay, maybe this isn't just a black thing. You feel me? And on the flip side, again, back to that point, I don't think they show, like, the media is going to portray. So this is my thing. This is almost a conspiracy theory. If I make you the victim, if I tell you you're the victim, even though you were stronger than me, faster than me, smarter than me, or whatever, but I get you to believe that you're the victim, you're always going to play victim. And you're always going to be in a victim position. You feel me? Just psychological thinking. And so it's like, think about it, bro. Think of a victim as being dependent almost. A lot of people think they have to depend on such and such. And then as soon as they realize, like, damn, I could just do this shit myself. So it's like, to bring it back to that, it's like, I feel like, really, bro, like, one, we gotta stop looking at this shit like we the victims all the time. Yes, we are the victims, but don't. It's like, you have to see yourself as the non-victim sometimes, as the predator or some shit. You feel me? It's almost like a dog-eat-dog world. Like, you gotta be a dog to survive amongst the dogs, or they're gonna eat you alive. And that's the deeper conversation I think that black folks need to start having, instead of, conversating on shit like, oh, this man should like me. Like, bro, there's no rules saying that these motherfuckers gotta like y'all. They just gotta treat you with respect. They just not even, it ain't even nothing that says that. It's like they just can't harm you. And unfortunately, the other issue is we don't control shit. Because we don't demand nothing. And why don't we demand nothing? Because we don't take accountability for the things we should be taking accountability for. I ain't saying we don't do it at all, but it's a lot of things we need to start taking responsibility for. For example, I think Derek Grace or 19 Keys had just said this on social media. It was like Dr. Umar. He was like, a lot of people are hitting him up trying to transition to teaching their kids themselves. For the longest, bro, people were scared to do You know, you will rarely hear about people teaching their kids homeschooling people and whatnot. Now with this corona thing, it's like people have gained the confidence back to realize that they can even do that shit. You feel me? Same thing to go back onto like what Beast was saying. We need people to police our own neighborhoods or your community, your community. So it's like
I'm glad you brought that back up because like
who gonna step up?
That's what I wanted to ask Beast. Like, so the idea sounds good, and after that conversation, the more I thought about it, I was like, it's a situation where like it makes sense, but you got to make it make sense. So it's like when you talk about that, we live primarily, and it's not all black people and all this shit. We live in communities of other black people. You know what I'm saying? So you talking about they got to live in these communities. How do you convince them to live in these communities? Or on the flip, how do you convince the people in the community to want to join that type of organization with the mindset to protect us? You know what I'm saying? People infiltrated the Black Panthers. White people infiltrated the Nation of Islam. Why can't we have a couple niggas?
I got a real life solution to that. Let me just say this real quick. So value is clear. When value is clear, decisions are easy to make, right? When you understand value, so going back to how you convince those people don't see the clear value in doing that right now. And we're starting to see it, hence why we're starting to talk about it now. Because before people weren't even talking about it for real. But it's like we're progressing towards that. I do believe that, and I do wish it would speed up. But I do believe like once people see the clear value in that, for example, even me, after we talked about it the other day, I start thinking about that a little more. I ain't just, cold turkey into it, but it was like, I start thinking like, what if I was a cop? What would it be like to be a detective or something? Or maybe, what if I could do that? And so it's like, through, science and shit and genealogy and shit like that, maybe one of my kids to start thinking about that more, you feel me? And through social, experiences and whatnot. But it's like, I think that's where it starts at, bro. It's like, literally, you got down. The challenge for us would be how do we get that value to become clear to them, right? So it's like, example, unfortunately, we have all these killings and whatnot that's happening. It's like stuff like that should convince somebody at some point. You feel me? I'm not gonna say it's gonna be everybody, but I do believe like. Then the other thing is ownership. You gotta think, bro. You're not trying to protect somebody else's shit. You will go way harder protecting your own shit. Hence why the white folks go so hard like they do. Because they own half this shit. And they like, y'all want these motherfuckers come fucking it up. So it's like, as we start to increase with ownership, now we gonna want somebody to protect our shit too. You feel me?
And so I feel you. Keep that in mind. It's gonna be a part 2 to this. And I think the part 2 is gonna be called Black on Black crime, or we're gonna create a part 2 of this.
Well, that's because we identifying the problem right now. Let's make the part 2 or solution.
I'll make part 2 a solution. Okay. So part 2 is gonna be like the solution. But man, anyway, I want to thank you guys for joining us, man. Cause we finna wrap this up, man. Like I said, this conversation about good cop versus bad cops, it could go either way. Everybody got their own opinion.
Right.
We're just saying what's on our mind or how we feeling, man. But we appreciate you guys for joining the movement. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. Big Zoe Podcast. Click subscribe, like, and leave a comment below, man. Big Zoe Podcast. Follow us at every social media platform.
Yo, again, appreciate the movement, appreciate the support. Remember to click subscribe, leave a comment below, and holla at your boys, man. Big Zoe Podcast, man. We're available every social media platform. Man, holla at your boys, man. Again, l'argent, mes amis. Yeah.